What if I told you that your house has a secret history and that it's been leaving you clues about its past this whole time? Well, in this explainer, we're going to put on our detective hats because our crime scene, it's right under your feet. Let's uncover the stories hidden in your pipes.
Every single home has a history, and sometimes that history isn't just whispering, it's gurgling clues about its past. So the real question is, are you listening? What secrets are your pipes keeping? Let's find out.
Okay, so our first clue is a sound I bet a lot of you have heard before, the gurgling toilet. You flush, and instead of that clean whoosh, you get this weird bubbly sound from the drain. It might seem totally random, but trust me, it's not. It's a message from down below. And then, of course, there's this classic, the constant drip, drip, drip of a faucet. Yeah, it's annoying enough to drive you crazy for sure, but it's so much more than just a nuisance. Think of it like another breadcrumb on the trail, a hint that something in the system is under a lot of stress. And for our last piece of initial evidence, this is the one that really hurts. That water bill that just suddenly spikes out of nowhere? This isn't just an attack on your wallet, it's a huge red flag. It's a clear signal that a hidden leak is telling a story that, right now, you're paying for, but haven't even read yet.
So all these clues, the gurgle, the drip, that crazy high bill, are they just random bad luck? Not a chance. They're all connected to a much deeper story. To really get it, we're going to open up our first case file, a plumbing study of Greenbelt, Maryland. Believe it or not, the history of the homes there might just explain everything happening in yours.
All right, our investigation starts by basically jumping in a time machine. See, the most important clue to your home's plumbing problems isn't what's happening right now, but when it was built. The materials they used way back then are almost always the real root of the problem.
So in our Greenbelt case study, you can see two really distinct eras. First, you had the original homes built back in the 30s and 40s. Then, you have this huge building boom in the 60s and 70s. Each of these periods used its own unique set of plumbing materials, and, well, each came with its own set of built-in problems.
So who's the prime suspect from that first building era? Galvanized steel pipes. Now, the really tricky thing about these pipes is how they fail. They can look totally fine on the outside, but on the inside, they're quietly rusting away, literally choking off the water flow. And that's what leads to that super frustrating low water pressure.
The other historical material to look out for is cast iron, which was used for drains. I mean, this stuff was built tough, but not forever. After about 50 to 70 years, it just starts to break down. It can develop tiny cracks and holes that leak sewage, and yeah, that's where those really foul, unmistakable odors come from. Its time is just up.
You can really see the whole evolution of plumbing right here. On the left, you've got the materials from the past, the galvanized steel and cast iron we've been talking about, plus another one called polybutylene. They're all known for failing over time. But then on the right, you see their modern replacements, copper, super flexible PEX, and durable PVC. These are all engineered specifically to avoid those historical problems.
But, a home's age isn't the only thing at play here. The plot actually thickens when we bring in an accomplice, the local environment. Nature itself is putting constant stress on these old systems, and that just makes them fail even faster.
So let's look at the evidence. First, you've got a climate with intense freeze-thaw cycles, which are notorious for cracking exterior pipes. Then you've got the local clay soil, which actually expands and shifts, putting enough pressure on underground lines to literally snap them. And to top it all off, high water tables during storms can totally overwhelm the system, forcing sump pumps to work overtime just to keep your basement dry.
So, what happens when you combine these old, aging materials with that relentless environmental stress? Well, the result is pretty predictable. You get a very specific set of problems that just keep happening over and over. Corroded water lines, failing drains, busted sump pumps, and frozen outdoor faucets.
Okay, so we've identified our historical culprits and their environmental accomplices. So now, how does this case actually get solved? Let's take a look at how modern professionals use new technology and a totally different approach to fix these decades-old issues for good.
The key to the modern approach is really just one word: transparency. It's not about just showing up and slapping a patch on a leak anymore. It's about being a detective, diagnosing the real root cause, explaining the why behind the repair, and then giving you a clear, upfront price. No surprises. And the process itself is just as logical as our investigation. It starts with your call, obviously. Then comes a really thorough diagnosis where the expert explains everything they found. And here's the crucial part. Work only begins after you approve it. Finally, it all ends with testing to make absolutely sure the fix is solid.
And the heroes of these modern repairs? They're the materials we saw a minute ago. That flexible PEX piping can resist freezing way better than old metal pipes ever could, and tough PVC drains simply won't corrode like cast iron does. These materials are engineered specifically to fight back against the problems of the past. So we've pretty much cracked the case for Greenbelt, but what about your own home? Let's take everything we've just learned and apply it, so you can become the lead detective for your own living space.
All right, here is your first assignment. Go find out the year your home was built. Was it from a time of galvanized steel, cast iron, copper? Seriously, knowing its era is the single most important clue you can have to understanding its potential plumbing secrets.
So the real takeaway here is all about a change in perspective. The next time you hear a weird gurgle or see a little drip, try not to get frustrated. Instead, just see it for what it is, a valuable clue. It's your home communicating a little piece of its unique history directly to you.
Every creak, every drip, every gurgle, they're all just words in a sentence. You just have to learn the language. So I'll leave you with this final thought. What story is your home trying to tell you right now? If you listen closely, the clues are everywhere.